bass tomorrow. We haven't put it out yet. It's coming out in, you know NAM? You know NAM? NAM, we debut it in NAM. That's what we do. So, and people will finally see it and be available at NAM. So, but tomorrow I play it, but they don't want me to show it. They don't want me to take pictures with it and stuff. It's weird. They say, let's keep it secret until NAM. So that's what we're doing. So, but tomorrow, if you come into the show, you'll see me play it. I love it. It's so comfortable. It sounds incredible. It sounds deep. But you know, like a dog growl, like a growl? Yeah. It's got a growl to it. It sounds like a growl with some great bass underneath it. It's very powerful bass, but it's not too heavy. So it's all very, very good. I can't wait till you guys see it. So what I want to do here is, the next time I come to Milano, I come here. Maybe we'll do a bass clinic, right? And with that bass, and hopefully you guys will buy some of the basses and come and sign it, and we can play, we jam some stuff, right? That's the whole idea, right? And we'll have a good time. It's about players communicating, right? Communicating. And whatever you want to know from me, I can help you, and then maybe I can learn things from you. You know, and that's the idea, right? So have fun. Oh, look at this. You're very professional. I like this. It's very good. So I'll shut up now, all right? There we go. Checking. 1, 2. Volare. No.
Cantare.
Oh.
Perfetto. E qui, grazie, arrivederci, è stato bello. Esatte, ciao a tutti amici di Bassline, siamo qui dal 2009, se non capite un basso... Non lo facciamo per voi! Bellissimo, applauso!
Bass in Italian is basso, but it's similar to casso. So if you don't understand, now it's clear.
Now I got you.
Ok. Ragazzi, abbiamo qui l'onore di avere frankbello in the house. So, thank you, Frank, for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is great. What a great turnout. You sold this place out. Thank you for everybody coming here. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We have a couple of questions.
I'm here.
For you.
Yes.
Vorrei partire con il chiedergli innanzitutto come mai il basso, da dove
Would you like to start with, was there a moment or an artist that made you think this is what I wanted to do in my life, if there are key artists or something different that made you do the first choice?
Yes. To be on stage, what made me want to play on stage was Kiss. You know the band Kiss? I saw that. I go, oh my God! How do I do that? How do I get onto that stage and make people? Because they made me feel so good. You know, it made me feel like, oh, there's something inside me. I have to do that, and I knew I would make my way to do it. I thought it was important. So Kiss first, and then with bass, God, Steve Harris, right? Geddy Lee. Geezer Butler, right? These are my favorites. Oh my God, yes. And you know the great thing about that is like at this age now, because I've toured a lot in my life, it's great to be friends with some of these people. Like I'm friends with Steve Harris now, and I could ask him all the questions I've ever wanted to ask him. And Geezer Butler, I'm still a fan, but it's nice to be friends. You know, it's a beautiful thing. Geezer, I mean, hopefully one day I'll be able to be friends with Geddy Lee too. I think I met him once in my life, but I'd love to be friends with him.
Il tuo primo strumento qual è stato? Proprio...
Let's talk about your first bass. Do you remember?
My first bass was a 1972 Fender Jazz bass, right? Wow. No money, right? I bought it for $250, US dollars, right? I didn't know anything, you know. All I did, I saved, I used to work in an Italian, my Uncle Joe had a deli in the Bronx, New York, where I grew up, right? I saved my money from that deli to buy this bass, $250, that was a lot of money for me. I was only making $2 an hour, so it was a lot of hours for $250, right? So when I bought that bass, it was very important to me. I still have that bass, And here's a crazy thing about that bass, I'll tell you. I learned all my Iron Maiden, my Geezer Butler, everything, all the. That's how I grew up and learned how to play bass on that bass. I thought when I got in the band, I left it at my grandmother's house years ago, and I thought I lost it forever. I thought it was thrown out. I thought it was thrown away because I haven't seen it. I was on tour. I lost track of it, and I was sad because I said, "That's my first bass. How did I lose my first bass?" And then my grandmother, God rest her soul, I remember she called me. She goes, "Frank." She goes, Tina, my grandmother Tina. She goes, "Frank, I found this guitar." She didn't know it was a bass. She goes, "I found this guitar in the back of the closet that I'm cleaning. You want me to throw it out?" No, no, I mean, there's no way. Don't throw it out. So it was that bass. Yeah, it was dusty and dirty, and some of the knobs were off, but I got that bass back, and I felt like home again. You know, it was because it was my training. It was my first. It was like your first girlfriend. You know, it's like, oh yes, you don't forget that. But it's how I learned how to play bass, and that bass I'll hand it down to my son. I'll just keep it in my family. I hope so. But it means so much to me, and because it was hard-earned money. It was hard-earned money that I got that, and it made me want to really learn. It was a learning bass. I'll never forget. I still have the same strings from back then. I never changed. They're disgusting. You got to feel it. It's disgusting on the strings, but when you play them, like if you felt them, you say, "Ugh." But when I play them, it's like, oh, and Iron Maiden comes back, Killers, you know, and I start doing that, right? I'm like, oh my God, I remember playing this, and it's the same feel. They're old and dead, but they're very special to me. You know what I mean? So I love that. So that's my first. A long answer. I'm sorry for the long answer, but that's okay. The story with that bass. I love that bass. I'm very happy to have that bass in my home right now. Very special.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
E nel tempo poi, oltre a questo, ha avuto tanti signature, passato tanti marchi, e adesso stai lavorando con Spector. Volevo chiedergli come è nata la collaborazione.
During the years you've worked with such many companies,
yes.
On your signature basis, but now focusing on Spector, I asked to our friend from Cog USA to let me know some connection. They told me about a couple of names that maybe talk about this connection.
Sure.
Doug Wimbish,
yes,
and also Rex Brown.
Yes, of course.
So if you can, Doug Wimbish, we have here exactly. This is the custom.
Amazing.
A custom from New York,
yes.
Exactly based on the first 1985 bass of Doug.
Doug's so good. He's such a great bass player.
If you can talk
yes,
us
of course,
about
my
the
pleasure.
Connection with the Spector, with this artist.
Yes, of course. Spector, you know, I've been with companies. I've been doing this a long time, 40-something years, right? You know, you guys. It's weird because I'm only 29 years old, so it's tough, right? Very tough. But I've been doing this a long time. So what happens is you go to companies, like I was with Fender for a long time, but then they change executives, come and change the company. So then you leave that. It's like, it's not for me anymore. Different people have different ideas. So, okay. Then I go to, I was with ESP. But, you know, I've always, from afar, always loved the sound of Spector, the look of Spector, the quality, and that in anything, more than anything, the quality for me is everything. So, you know, it was my time. I was starting people, my last company, I parted ways with them, and I said, you know, I'm going to give myself a break. And I said, should I go with, and I said, should I call my friend Doug Wimbish from you know Living Color, right? You know Doug, right? An amazing bass player, amazing in every way. And also a beautiful person. He's the sweetest guy in the world. You ever met him before?
Yeah.
The sweetest person in the world. Very helpful, very friendly. So I said, all right, I'm going to call Doug up and see what he feels about me trying out a Spector. Just talking to some of the people there. He goes, so I call him up, hey, Frankie. Of course, so we go through the whole thing that we haven't talked in a while. So I said, Doug, what do you think about me talking with the guys at Spector? He goes, number one, I think that's a great idea, and you're not going to believe this. I have a meeting and a photo shoot with all the heads of Spector tomorrow. He goes, let me hook you up on a FaceTime with them. Swear to God, this is what happened. I said, okay, that sounds great. I didn't expect it to go like this. So Doug calls me up on an iPhone. He goes, hey, Frank, this is John from Spector. And just gives me the phone. Hi. I had no idea what to say. But he knew I was passionate. This guy, John Stipple, is a great dude. And we got along really well. He knew what I was about. I found out what he was about. They were very interested in me. I was very interested in them. And it's like a relationship. Let's see what happens. We started to talk about what I wanted in bass, where I'm going. I told them exactly what I wanted, and it just so happens that this thing that they wanted to work on was the same thing that I wanted to work on. Have you guys seen my signature model yet? Have you seen? Anybody seen the model look? Yeah? It's a different look for them, right? It's more of a how do you say, a classic style bass, right? Wait till you guys hear this bass. Wait till you guys, and I'm not just selling my bass, wait till you guys feel the neck on this bass. This bass, I'm telling you, my tech, and with Anthrax right now, he tried this bass on, I just say, oh my God. It was like, oh my God. It's one of those basses, they got it right. And I have to say, I've been doing this a long time. I would never let anything go until it was right. I wouldn't just say, oh, this is ready to go. This bass, because I've been trying out on tour now, I kick the shit out of it. I jump with it. I play hard. You guys probably seen Anthrax shows, what we do, right? There's some fun going on there, right? This bass has held everything, and it still sounds. It doesn't go out of tune. The neck, it never goes. It doesn't warp. It doesn't. The strings are never off the neck. I'm so excited about this bass because it's just you plug in and you. God bless you. You just plug in the bass. And it's there for you. The sound is right there for you, and I love it. I couldn't be more happy and excited to sell a bass because I know this bass is going to sell players. We're going to keep the price, not crazy price, a good price for players so they can actually afford it. And when you put this bass in your hand, you're going to say, and I think even Spector players, because I know Spector plays, and I respect all Spector players. I know there's a quality thing. This bass carries that quality, and that's what I'm so excited about. I've been playing it for a long time on this tour. We're ready to go.
I'm very curious because I want
Yes.
to ask you one thing. I don't want you to spoil something because obviously it will be launched at the NAMM
Yes.
show.
Yes.
But just one thing. It is a passive bass.
Yes. But
And it is astonishing for me. Well, I've been working with Spector for 15 years, and I really know all the production. Usually Spector, the growl of Spector is from active, the preamp, and I'm hearing you that you are so excited
and confident
about this, confident, and you talk about growl, and it is passive. And it is something very new also for a Spector to start something.
we're growing, and because I feel they brought me in Spector as part of the family, and you know, family. The Italians love the family, obviously, right? I feel very much part of the family with Spector. They brought me in because of this specific bass that they want, and I wanted this bass shape because people know me. If you see the shape, that's the shape that I'm used to. It's everything that a Spector has and more, in my opinion. So you don't miss that. When you hear my sound tomorrow on stage, you're not going to know if it's passive or, you know. And I'm telling you, it's very powerful. You plug it in, and then the neck just sells you. The sound is deep. It's fat, and then you can back that off too. You could back it off if you want. So there's not too much, not too little. I think this is a player's player. You know, the player will really like this, especially if you like a classic style bass. I think you're really going to get into it. They don't want me to talk too much about this, about the specifics of the bass, but I'm so excited because I know, because I'm a player. I care about players. I would never sell you anything unless I believed in it myself, because I can't do that. I can't lie. I can't. It's not me. I'd rather not be with a company, to be honest. This thing, they did it right, and it's the best way I could describe it. And for Spector players, because I know electronics, and you're afraid, with the power amp, I don't miss any of it. I don't miss any of it because I think we got it right for what we did. They have, just so you guys know, my signature pickups are in it. The EMGs, my signature pickups. Have you ever heard of them? please, they're very, very powerful. We won't have a problem with power. I promise you that. And tone. If you know Anthrax's music, never a problem. Never a problem. So we're pretty confident in what we have right now. So
it's great that you can let enter also Spector in a different mindset,
that's the idea.
And it's fantastic that the connection between a company or a luthier with an artist is so deep that they can change the rule that they always had. So preamp, no, I arrive.
This is a different. It's a different way, great. And I'm proud of it. I love the preamp stuff. I love it all. I think it's a great classic sound. But this is another way that I think is a whole different market. It's a whole different market out there that people are looking for, that we're going to try to appeal to and make them see, check this bass out. It's different from Spector, but
it's a new level.
It's a new level. That's what we're talking about. It's a new level of Spector, and they're exploring, and I think they got it right, because the quality of Spector. I mean, have you guys ever seen the shops up in upper state New York, in Woodstock, New York? God, they know everything's finely tuned. Everything's done so precise. It's so well done. I'm very excited, obviously. So because I'm very proud of it, and I can't say this unless I've been playing it on this tour. On this tour, you'll see me tomorrow. It's my main bass. I have a backup Spector, and that's for this. But it's working on this tour just because they can't get the other bass to me yet, because it's a prototype. It's a prototype, but I look forward to it. And with this crowd here, do you guys know me on Instagram at the frankbello? Here's what I like. If those of you coming to the show, you see pictures, you please tell me, hit me up on an Instagram, and let me know what you think of it. Sound-wise, all that stuff. I'm interested, because my sound man, who's here tonight, my sound man said, he's on the phone. He says from the first show, it's the best bass I've ever had. And he's been with us a long time. So the clarity, the punch. So I know I don't want to sell you too hard on the bass, but this is to look forward to, because I could never put my name on a bass unless it was the right bass. So I would never do that. That's what the Italians do. They care about their quality, right? That's what we do.
Abbiamo parlato prima di famiglia. Volevo chiedere, siccome c'erano anche questa domanda arrivava anche dal pubblico, quali sono le sue origini, visto il nome?
We talked about family. What's your origin? You have some roots, Italian roots.
My mother is Calabrese, right? And my father, who I don't know, a long time ago took off, right? So I don't know, but I heard he's from Bari. Right, or his family's from Bari. I'm now, funny, we were just talking about this a little while ago. I'm looking my background, because as you get older, you want to see where you're from, right? So I'm trying to look and research my father, my mother, my grandmother. I'm trying to see exactly my roots, because it's important to me. I want to see where, and visit, one day I want to visit my roots. It's important to me. We all probably feel that way. You want to see where you're from. I'm very proud to be Italian. I'm very proud to, be in metal, be Italian, the whole thing. It's very important to me.
Volevo chiedergli invece come era entrato a far parte degli Anthrax.
How did you start with Anthrax?
I just started last year. I started, God, let's figure this out. I'm 59 years old now, right? I'm 59.
And you look 29. Ooh. What's the secret?
Plastic surgery, no. I started in Anthrax at 17 years old. That's a long time, right? That's a long time. So here's the story, real quick. I grew up in the Bronx, New York. You know the Bronx, New York. I was working in a deli at 17. Anthrax, I heard Anthrax, because Charlie, do you know Charlie Benetti, the drummer? He's my uncle by 2 years, right? So we're related. He told me they were Anthrax, because I used to help them. I used to be a roadie, I was horrible. I was terrible. I could barely change a string. I was terrible in every way, but I tried. So he knew I played. We used to jam a lot. And he says, look, they might be trying out bass players if you want to try out. So I did, and it all worked out, right? And that's a lot of years ago. And here we are today, all this time later, still going. It's crazy, because you don't get a lot of bands that last this long, right? But we're very happy and, you know, still selling out shows, you know, all that good stuff. So we're very fortunate. I'm very, very lucky. Thank you.
C'è stato qualche
grateful.
applauso. Volevo chiedere se c'era stato degli alti e dei bassi durante tutti questi anni con il gruppo e qual è il segreto per restare uniti in una band, suonare una band per così tanto tempo.
Have you ever had during these long days with Anthrax high and lows, and what's the secret to keep it stable?
Everybody here has a family, right? Everybody, you have your highs and your lows with the family. Sometimes you have arguments. I'm not talking to you, right? And the next time, oh, let's make up, right? That's the same thing as being in the band. It's a family. This band has great highs. We've played the biggest places in the world, and the smallest places in the world. And sometimes we're with each other all the time. So you know what happens? You get tired. You say, I need my space. And you have arguments, and then you make up. But the band knows it's a family. That's the best way I could describe it. So the secret of it is being smart enough not to break up. Because it's easy to break up. I'm not doing this anymore, right? You don't want to do this anymore. But the secret is to be smart enough and say, this works. I can't leave my family, right? Because I've played with other bands before, and during Anthrax, taking breaks, but I always came back because this is my family. That's the best way I could describe it, you know? Does it make sense?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, cool.
You play with the helmet, right?
Yeah, play with helmet. You know, this summer I did a crazy thing. I thought it was I always look for a good challenge. So Anthrax was off. And you guys ever hear of this band called Satyricon? Yeah. So they asked me to play this summer. They asked me to play on the record, but I haven't done that yet. Well, maybe soon. But they asked me to do the summer festivals. And it was a lot of fun. Completely different music. Like I love the music. It's heavy, all good stuff, but I didn't know it. But it's a completely different world, and I think it made me a better bass player. It made me dig in more to the rhythms. It's like, wow, different time signatures, 3, 5, 7, whoa. And I didn't know how to do that, but I learned. I thought it was a good training thing for me. So I think as a player, and you guys, there's a lot of players here today, no matter what age you go, and like I said, I'm 59, you never want to stop challenging yourself to become better. I'm a student. I'm not for me, yes, I play in a band, but I don't feel like I'm the superstar. I feel like I'm a student who wants to learn. And that's you got to stay hungry. You have to stay hungry. Otherwise, if you get like, I'm the best, you can't do that, because then your playing stops getting good, you know? It stops getting. You hear it in the playing. You have to stay hungry. This way, you know you have to be on it. Have to be on top of it. It's really important. Oh, wow.
Volevo chiedergli anche del libro. Tante cose di cui abbiamo parlato sono qua nel libro che ho comprato ieri su Amazon.
Claudio bought the book.
Yeah, sono
several things that we've talked are included.
Volevo chiedergli un po' del libro, se ha qualche aneddoto, come
Let's
mai.
Let's talk about the book.
Sure.
If you have any anecdote.
Yeah, if you guys know, I have a book out. It came out about 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever. And it did well. It's not just your basic metal rock and roll book. This book is more, people are telling me that they feel it's more of a self-help book. Where, see, when I grew up, we grew up very poor, right? My mom and dad had 5 kids. I was the oldest. My dad took off when I was 10 years old. Never see him again. We had no money. We went on, what do you call welfare here? Welfare, no money. Well, the government gives you money. What do you call that?
Sussidio.
Mm-hmm. So we were on that. So my heroes were musicians. Kiss, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, all the music, Rush, they were my heroes. Oh, they make me feel better. They make me feel better about me. That's all in this book, and it's really how to, when you fall down, life punches you down, right? You get yourself up, you brush yourself off. I want to go up, and that's it. I want to stand up and do my best, and that's what the book is about how I did it. There's a lot of great stories in here, a lot of great stories from Metallica. You know, we were talking with Metallica a lot. A lot of my good friends, Iron Maiden. There's a lot of great rock and roll stories in here too. So it's not all just family stuff. Also has some of my family's recipes. My grandmother's, God rest her soul, I miss you so much. About how beautiful it was to grow up in an Italian family and really look forward to that. Not only the food, because the food was delicious always. We all know that, right? But you look forward to the family and talking. Regardless if you argue a little bit, so what? We all argue. We're Italians. That's what we do. But I always look forward to that. And as my family gets older, everybody's dying off. So I always go back to that. It makes me feel good. So when I hear, like I see this as a family. You know, the people I meet, the people I talk to, I see everybody as family. That's the way I look at life.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, so that's yeah.
Ha menzionato Metallica, Megadeth, quindi ovviamente i Big Four. Volevo fargli una domanda riguardante i concerti, se c'è stato qualche aneddoto particolare o qualche momento.
You talked about the connection with the Big Four.
Yeah.
Are there any funny memories or anecdote that you can talk about the connection?
Yeah, there's a lot of connections. You know, with the Big Four, you know, Anthrax, Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, we grew up together. Again, like a family. These bands, in the early days of the 80s, nobody really knew thrash metal, right? It came about, and we grew up together playing the smallest. We played the corner. It doesn't matter. We played every small place and came up together. So I thought the Big Four was a great celebration of us coming up together. Obviously, Metallica being the biggest band in the world, and it's great that they took us and brought us around the world to celebrate this thing. So there's a lot of great anecdotes. I remember, look, the first night, I could tell you this, before the first show, Metallica was smart enough to have all four bands in a restaurant just to say hello to each other, reacquaint each other, because we haven't seen each other in a long time. We're all on the road. So they had everybody, no management, no people, just the band members were allowed. And you guys heard about this, right? So it's great. They only had just the band members, no management, no other people, but the band members. So it would be me, James, Kirk, you know, everybody, Dave Mustaine and other guys, just the band members. It was just a beautiful night of getting to know each other. The greatest thing about that, we all talked about how much of a great thing this was, this celebration of metal, and we're all playing this stadium the next night. This music has been great to us, and the fans have been great to us. We were very thankful that night. So that was one of the great things. And then I could tell you a really quick anecdote. I remember going out one night. We had a night off, and some drinking was going on, right? So I remember Lars one night. We're looking, and we're stumbling, right, like this. He goes, "You see that bush? It's bush, you know, like a regular bush." He goes, I bet you can't run right through that bush." Okay, let's do it. Boom, the two of us right through that bush, and it just all you saw was leaves, and we were just. I think we were. I know I was cut. I was worried about the next show because I was all cut up in my arms. But it was a fun night. We had one of those great nights where everybody just drank and just having a good laugh. That was like being young again on the Big Four. That night, I remember it was like being young again, like coming up and just hanging out like that. It was nice. It was fun.
Great. Fantastico.
Yeah, fun, good times.
E invece parlando di concerti, volevo chiedergli qual è stato un concerto memorabile o uno di quei concerti più grossi che ha fatto.
Talking about shows, what one or more very memorable show?
You know, it's funny with the more memorable shows. I live in New York, right? My favorite team. You guys know the New York Yankees, right? Of course. So New York Yankees is my favorite team. Now, you got to understand, I was at a lot of Yankee games all through my life. It'd be like your favorite football team, going to see them all the time. Imagine one day you play in a band, and they say, you're going to play the same stadium that they play. What? It's not. I can't play Yankee Stadium. I'm a Yankee fan. That doesn't happen. The Big Four was playing Yankee Stadium. So when you ask my favorite show, it has to be this. Look, we've been very blessed with a lot of great shows, a lot of big shows, crazy shows. But for me, what sticks in my mind always, and I'm going to give you one more after this, Yankee Stadium. But I'm going to tell you one of my favorite tours, and this is the next question you probably have. One of my favorite tours ever, Iron Maiden and Anthrax, South America. Got to remember this. And I know we played here too, but we went, they brought us to South America. You know Ed Force One, the plane? Mm-hmm. So they invited us on the plane. Now imagine being an Iron Maiden fan, diehard fan, and you got Bruce Dickinson driving you on the plane. I'm like, oh my God, right? So I'll give you one quick story with this. So the last night of that tour, we were all flying home to end the tour. So everybody had different flights. So Ed Force One was flying to New York that night, right? So they asked me, because I was the only guy going to New York, would you like to travel with? Yes, of course, I'm coming with you, right? So I went with them to New York, and Bruce is flying home, right? So I knew he was up there. So what happens is you have these big, beautiful seats and all that stuff. So I was having Iron Maiden beer. What was the name of it? Trooper. I was having a Trooper beer, right? I'm just enjoying my Trooper beer, just going home. What a great tour this was. And I think Steve comes by and says, I'm talking to Steve. It's crazy. It's like a dream, right? So I'm talking to Steve. All of a sudden, the flight attendant comes up to me. I swear to God this happened, right? I don't know if I put this in my book. I should have. But she comes up and taps me on the shoulder, just like a flight attendant, right? Hi. You want to know? No, I'm good. She goes, no, Bruce wants to see you upstairs in the cockpit. I'm afraid of all this, the heights and all that stuff. And I think she's kidding with me. No, Bruce would like to see you. He's flying the plane. And I say, no, I'm good. I'm afraid. So I just kind of ignore her. I'm kind of like this with my beer, take another swig, and maybe she'll go away. This again. Hi. Bruce would really know. He really wants to come in. So, okay, I go upstairs. So you go up the stairs, right? And upstairs is where the Iron Maiden guys was. The band was sitting there. I was like, hey, Frank, what are you doing? Bruce wants to see me. Oh, really? Right? I'm shivering right now. I'm like, because I'm afraid of heights. I don't want to see the window with air and what's coming up. I don't want to see any of that. So I go, she opens the door, and there's Bruce and another pilot here, right? So there's two pilots, Bruce, and this paper is being flown around like this. Bruce is going through like this. He's like this. He's looking through papers, and he's just throwing them up. And he's looking for a flight pattern. And he can't find the right flight. It looks like he's a little nervous. I'm like, oh, my God, where am I? I'm like, I'm going to go. No. He goes, oh, you picked the perfect time to come here. And he was trying to find it. Finally, he found the right one. And then he says, have a seat. And I've never done this before. I was so scared. But he says, I want you to come in, and I want you to see us land in JFK, New York, right? I said, Bruce, I don't know if I can do it. No, it'll be fine. So I was a little buzzed from my Trooper beer, so I was okay. But we flew into JFK. Bruce Dickinson flew me. I was sitting right behind him in the cockpit. I was like, I was petrified. And the crazy thing is, when Anthrax flies into New York, it doesn't get this treatment. No way, right? We just get on a regular flight. They had the fire engines were all there and celebrating Iron Maiden with the water. They had all the water go up for celebrating Iron Maiden at Force One. It was a beautiful thing. Then the customs, there were no customs. I walked right through. Anthrax goes back and stop. Where you going? It was a beautiful time. One of my favorite times of all. And for that, so my favorite tour was that. We've had a lot of great tours, Pantera, Metallica, but the Iron Maiden tour, because we were on Ed Force One, it was so very special. And how many people can say they went on tour in the plane with them? It was very special. That was a long story, I'm sure. I love those times, wow.
Avete invece un rituale prima di salire sul palco?
Do you have any ritual before going on stage?
Oh, yeah.
Anthrax?
Now, I told you I'm 59 now, right? So now it's not as easy as it used to be to play. And you see our show, it's crazy, right? We go a lot of running around. 20-something years ago, I got into yoga. I have to, every night before I go on, 25, 30 minutes before, a full stretch out, a full yoga stretch out. Otherwise, ow, ow, you know, it doesn't work because then you feel it after, and a couple of shots. Now the ritual is Fernet Brown. You know Fernet? Yeah. All the time, and before and after. You know, so it,
to balance.
the other day, the guy, one of the crew guys, he found a new way to make a Fernet with a shaker. You know, so it's like a shake. It's so good. Oh, they get you. You feel good. Everything's good. So yeah, there's a ritual. That's my ritual. So, and playing, I play. The warming up scales, I do the scales too. Don't forget that. Got to warm up your fingers, sure. Yeah.
Domanda importante questa: se c'è stato durante la sua carriera un grosso errore o un fallimento che lo ha fatto crescere in qualche modo.
Is there a moment during your career a big mistake or a big failure that you feel that make you grow up better?
I see what I do in life, and maybe I could pass this on to you guys after living 59 years. I don't have regrets. I don't regret anything because I feel everything, if you make a mistake, it's something you learn from and you want to make it better. So I think, I could have did that better, but I'm going to do it better the next time. That's what I feel now. I have an 18-year-old son. That's what I try to tell him now. I say, look, everybody makes mistakes, but you can't hold yourself down like that. You'll correct the mistake and you'll be better the next time. So that's how you learn. The only way we learn, even bass, I kept screwing up everything, you know, but I got better because I kept going at it. So I try not to live with regrets because I think it's a waste of time. And as you get older, you see life is this short. Life is very short. There's no time to rest on that. It's like, let's move forward and we'll get better. That's it. That's the whole idea, you know. It's the only way to go. It really is. That makes sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
Farei adesso il nostro giochino che facciamo spesso del primo e ultimo, quindi gli chiediamo il suo primo e ultimo di alcune cose.
Let's do a game. Let's talk about games. Your first and last.
Okay.
In few categories.
Abbiamo parlato prima del suo primo basso, quindi chiederei...
We talked about your first bass, and so your first and last.
And last.
But you already...
Yeah, I said that. Fender 72 Jazz, right?
Yeah.
And Spector.
Spector, beautiful. Frank Bello. Here, I want to tell you something I have to tell you something about the bass that's coming out, right? I told you about my grandmother, right? And if you read my book, you'll know who my mother is. Now, I lost my grandmother 12 years ago. Was very close. I grew up with my grandmother. Very close. Italian, very, very close. My mother I lost last year, right? So this bass is called, for the two of them, Tina Rose. I dedicated this Tina Rose. You'll notice that my bass is purple. You know that you know purple? Yeah. That's my grandmother's favorite color. It's all for her, right? It's that it brings me, so every time I pick it up, I think of them. And that's it. It makes me want to it brings me balance. It brings me balance. It's a tribute to them. So when you say why purple? Why purple? It's Tina Rose. That's what it's called. My mother's name is Rose. My grandmother was Tina, so it's Tina Rose. Just so you guys know, okay? Just so it's very personal.
Allora, primo e ultimo album comprato.
The first and the last album you bought.
First album was Kiss, Alive, right? Of course. Right? God, the last record I bought was, God. You know what I just did? I just redid my Zeppelin collection. Sorry.
Thank you.
You know what I just did? I just rebought the remasters of the Zeppelin thing. So Led Zeppelin 2 was the last record I bought. And John Paul Jones, let me tell you something, man. Again, you never stop learning. He does something always different. And that's why I put the vinyl. It's a vinyl. I bought the vinyl. You put it on. I love that, right? And then you start digging in. That's how I grew up. That's how I grew up playing, with that. It was just a beautiful thing. And I never forget that. I don't think you should ever forget where you came from, It's important.
I have to tell you something. Then we can go on with the game. Okay. But I really, really appreciate, as a musician, your bass line, because if we compare with several other bass players that are doubling the roots, the way as you try to not going. It's obvious we are bass player. We need to
Yeah.
to give the
Yeah.
rule. But as you play with fourth, with fifth, I really appreciate because it
Sincerely.
it adds
Thank you very much.
something very. It adds more to. A new genre like
That's the
thrash
idea.
metal during the 80s, and so
You
you're
just
a
made it all
pioneer.
worthwhile for me. You understand? Thank you for saying that because that makes it all worthwhile. Because my thing is, a song is a song, but I always want to add something more to the song, right? I want to add a story. A song is a story, right? It's a story. I want to add a little bit, not to take over the story, but I want to add a little flavor to the story. That's all. That makes it more delicious, right? In a song. Does that make sense?
Well, the best place that you mentioned,
Yeah.
now you're talking about John Paul Jones, but if I think also to Geddy Lee, Steve Harris, and Jan Simmons, they are not doing only roots, especially Geddy.
No, Geddy.
And so I see these influences.
It's all there. I try look, and I wear it on my sleeve. I love that I'm influenced by these players because I think everybody, if something I do that can make you listen to a John Paul Jones or Geddy Lee or any Steve Harris, I think it's beautiful. They should all.
Paul McCartney too.
Paul McCartney. Yeah. Paul McCartney, who is a guitar player and played bass for the Beatles, right? But how many great bass lines do we know? And think about this. I sound like crazy now. But singing while playing these great bass lines, think about Paul, right? Yeah. It's just insane. And they can play piano. So these people in life, they're gifts. They're gifts, these people. And I look at them as gifts that I was giving to, I want to learn from this. And that's why we all have these beautiful gifts out there. Go out and grab them. Go out and grab them. That's what we do with our time. It makes life more, makes it rich, you know?
Continuiamo col
Let's go.
Okay, but thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Primo e ultima canzone che ha registrato.
First and last song you recorded.
New Anthrax. First, here's the first song. The first song I did was, with Anthrax. Was it Armed and Dangerous? I think that was my first song I recorded because that was an EP back in the day. I was 17. Imagine this. So 17 years old, coming from my bedroom, playing. I never played in Anthrax is my first band, right? Imagine sitting in your bedroom, learning songs, Iron Maiden, all this stuff, Rush, all that stuff, and all of a sudden getting in the band and going into the recording studio. Oh my God, a producer. Oh my God, and playing. You get nervous, but yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy to think back. I'm very old. But yeah, that was the first one. And then the last song you asked I recorded is, I can't talk about it now because the Anthrax record isn't out. Ooh. I finished my bass tracks for the new Anthrax record. So, but you'll love it. It's very good. And I tried to have some fun with it on bass. Yeah, so we had some fun. Yeah, good stuff.
Quindi avremo delle nuove linee da imparare.
We'll have new bass line to learn.
Yes, I'm very proud. And, I've been listening to a lot of different influences from what I just mentioned. So I think they brought out something more in me that I have to be interested. And I think, because when I want to play, it's a good thing. I get interested. So I can't wait till people hear some of the stuff. Some of the stuff I've never done before, which is cool. So that's what our producer, Jay Rustin, said, "You never did that before." I said, "That's the idea. Always keep moving." Yeah.
Yeah, grande. Invece il primo e l'ultimo concerto visto.
The first and the last concert, but you attended.
Yeah, Kiss. And my last concert was Korn. You know Korn? Because before I left, I'm friends with those guys, and they're a great band. Gojira played before them. They were great. It was just a really good, I was a fan, I watched as a fan with a beer. Yeah, I just like doing that. I don't want to lose touch. I don't want to lose touch with what's going on. It was a really great show, and it inspired me to want to play. I couldn't wait to play again after I said, yeah. And then I went back to say a little, they're great people. So all good, yeah.
E invece il primo e ultimo concerto fatto?
First and last concert you played?
Last played, where was I the other night? Switzerland, last night. Oh, check this out. So last night, Anthrax comes on, right? 4 songs in, right? Crazy crowd, right? All good, all everybody's going crazy. Well, starting, you're starting to sweat, you feel it down your back, and you're getting into it. All of a sudden, every light goes out, power, everything out. Joey's trying to talk to the crowd. Nothing. Nothing going on. We don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, our crew says to us, everybody off the stage. They're rushing us off the stage because they don't want the crowd to get mad because they couldn't explain what was going on. The power company blew something, a big power thing about half a mile away. They had to come. So we were off stage for 40 minutes. So we went back to the bus because they said our show was over, right? We went back to the bus. So I'm changing, I'm getting, and then all of a sudden, all right, well, we're going back on. I'm dry already. I'm like, no. So then I put my wet shirt back on, right? The wet pants, everything is wet. So, so we finished the show and it was a great show. That was the last show. First show was Anthrax, L'Amour's. You ever hear L'Amour's in Brooklyn? A very famous rock. Look up, Google L'Amour's in Brooklyn. Very famous rock show, a rock club. It's closed now, but it was a very famous one. And back in the day, in the 80s, it was very popular. Very intimidating. It was a big club. And I just put my head down and headbang. I was like, because I didn't know what to do. I was like, I know the songs. I'm going to headbang. But it was great. It was fun. There's a videotape of that. It's on YouTube. You can look that up. Somebody videotaped that, my first show. I had short hair. I looked like a Guido. It was great. It was fun. It was fun.
Invece li vedremo domani all'Alcatraz di Milano, non vediamo
See
l'ora.
you tomorrow.
Are you going to see me tomorrow?
Yeah,
Who's coming? Is you guys coming to the show tomorrow? I know it's sold out, but that's great.
He's working with us.
Oh,
Yeah.
So he's coming with
I'm
me.
connected.
that's the idea. But yeah,
Okay.
this is all good, of course.
Abbiamo, esatto, siccome non tutti sono riusciti a prendere i biglietti perché sono sold out.
Not every.
Explain to me.
Someone didn't book the tickets because it's sold out.
Yes.
But we have a couple of.
Oh, we have 2 tickets?
Yeah.
And now.
I love this. We're going to do a raffle?
We're
Yeah,
gonna do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love
For
this.
2 lucky.
So I pick out 2
You
pieces
have
of paper?
to
Oh, I love
to
this.
pick up 2.
First off, nobody get mad at me, okay? I feel bad. All right? Okay.
Let's shake it.
Okay, you shake it. It's all, I have nothing to do with this. I'm just picking out names. This is good. I love this, though. Come on, this is great.
Okay.
Okay. How about it? I'm not looking. I'm going to go on the bottom. No, too many. It's stuck. Is this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Leggo io.
And the winner is.
And the winner is. Me li avete chiusi fortissimo. Ok. Daniele Bacchio.
Ah! All right.
Bravo Daniele. Another one.
Now, one more, okay?
One more.
Congratulations. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, I'm not going to. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Ok. Siete pronti? Gianfranco Balbo.
All right.
Yeah.
Gianfranco. Very good.
The name is for Paul.
There you go.
Ok.
All good, of course. Sorry about the rest of them.
Per gli altri abbiamo i cappellini. Premio di consolazione ai cappellini della Spector. Direi che ci siamo. Volevo chiedere se avete qualche domanda.
Any
Prego,
questions? You
gruppo.
guys have any questions for
any
me?
questions?
I'm here.
Vai.
We might as well talk, right? We'll start with you, okay? I think what you do is that's a starting point, right? It comes from inside you, your first record, right? But remember, that's always been with you. So all you have to do, you have to follow your path. You have to follow the path where it's, because that was that first record, right? Then the second record, what's in you? What from the earth is, what's affecting you, right? Politics, whatever the hell it is, life in general, it's all got to come into the next record, right? Because it affects you, your body, your life, you know? That's how you follow it through. You can't force that. It's just got to be natural. Everything's got to be natural. I think all those bands did that. They felt, because let's face it, we love this music because it's got that fire in us. It makes us feel better, you know? For me, it was always about the angst. Maybe it was from coming from a broken home, whatever it is, when my father left and stuff. I was angry. And this music made me feel better. It made me feel, this music matches what I feel inside. I think we all have that. And for the writers when we wrote those records and for the Big Four and thrash and all that, I think that all happened back then. It's just, we all had this angst, and that's what came out of from everybody's got individual lives. I think that's where it came from. And look, it still continues now. I think to this day, Anthrax's new record, and I could say this honestly, it's just as angry and ferocious as it's ever been. So we're very hungry. It doesn't sound like nobody's resting. Everybody's very hungry for the next thing to come out of us. So I'm excited as a player and as a fan of Anthrax. I say that, you know. So good question. No, thank you. My tone. Do you know Cheap Trick, right? Band Cheap Trick. You know Tom Peterson, the bass player from that band. I'm a big fan of his sound. It's I've always wanted to cut through the guitars and the bass drums in this music. When you get in the studio with this kind of music, it's easy for the bass to get lost and get surrounded by the bass drum and the guitars and get squashed, and you don't hear it. I always wanted to cut through. So I always thought, because I like that sound, that it almost sounds like Tom Peterson's sound was like a piano, like a piano note on top of a bass note on the bottom. So it was like a nice little mixture. That's always been my thing, to get that kind of sound to cut through. And it's really, I just always knew I can do that. And it's also has to do with your fingers. It's not just about the knobs. It's also about your fingers, the way you play and cut through. It's important. So I found that over the years with my tone specifically for Anthrax, it works. And people seem to like it, and thank you for that. It's its own special sound. I don't question it, but I know when it's there. I'll know from any amp how to get my sound, you know. But I'm a tone fanatic. And this bass, I have to say that this bass has my tone. You'll see. We're going to talk again when my bass comes out. I'm excited. Who else? Thank you. Yes. It started. Dave and I do a lot of bass. We did a lot of bass clinics around the world. And we're good friends, David and I. And I remember one day David said to me, because we used to do this jam thing at the end of it, both bass players, and he said to me, why don't we just write some songs together and do that at the end of our clinics? That came up, and all of a sudden the songs started coming, and they weren't just bass songs, they were real songs. And I had a bunch of them that I had held over, so I brought them in, and it just became this band. All of a sudden it was David and I. And a lot of people thank you for that, because a lot of people like that stuff. And I don't know, do you think we should do another record? I don't know. Yeah, I've done some solo stuff, and a lot of people have been asking me about it, especially lately. I don't know, but I don't know why, but I'm glad you like it. Thank you very much. So you guys can look that up. It's called Altitudes and Attitude from David Ellefson and myself. So that's what he's talking about. So thank you for that, though. I was so close to Anthrax. I was in Anthrax. So it was to cross over. And look, they never asked me, and maybe it was too close for them, and maybe they just didn't like me. I love we're good friends, Metallica and all of us. So, but I was in Anthrax. So it was kind of a weird thing. Would you cross over? You know, again, I love jamming with those guys. I've jammed with them a lot. They're great friends of mine. And I think Rob is an amazing bass player. And Jason was great when he was with him also, but Rob is just an incredible, he can do pretty much anything on the bass, so I think he's a great fit for them, you know. First, we have such a big catalog with Joey, right? If I understand the question correctly. We don't play a lot of the John Bush songs, only because we have so many songs with Joey from the history, and we can't get to them. A lot of people get mad at us that you only have, but you know what's crazy? I'll be honest, as a fan, and as a player in the band, as one of the band members, it's hard to win, because I want to play a lot of the songs that you want to hear, but we have so many songs that people want to hear. Then if I play that song that you want to hear, somebody else will say, "Why didn't you play Got the Time Tonight? It's my show," and all that, you know. I'm like, okay, because we played that song, and now you're mad at me, and what do I do? What do I do? So it's a great thing to have. We like mixing it up once in a while, but if you don't play, put it this way, if you're paying your hard-earned money to come see Anthrax and you don't hear A Caught in a Mosh or one of the bigger songs, Indians, people write in and get pissed off. It's like, I paid my money to see this song. I'm like, oh, all right. You know. So, okay, I get it, but we do like mixing it up. We do. Like on this tour, we mixed up a couple of songs already from the newer. I can't wait to play new stuff. the newer stuff that we have coming out, because it's going to be insane. A lot of challenging songs on this new record, musician-wise. I'm interested to see what you guys say about that, because musician-wise, it's going to be challenging. So we have to fit those in too. So you're going to be even more mad at me next time, right? So that's the idea. It's a lot of songs. So John Bush I'm good friends with John. We're all good friends with John. I don't know about the future. Right now, this is Anthrax, you know? So I would always jam with John on anything he wants me to jam on, because he's my friend, you know? But we're very close. We're very good friends, you know?
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ci vediamo allora a un prossimo video e adesso, se piano piano salite tutti quanti una alla volta, facciamo poi su autografi, foto, eccetera, eccetera.
Of course, that's why I'm here. Sure. That's what we're doing. Of course.